This happened years ago. My mother and father are divorced. I would spend weekdays with my mother and then spend weekends with my father. It was around Christmas time. The entire town looked beautiful with all the multicolored lights hanging from telephone posts and the different Christmas decorations being hung around the streets. Everyone I knew in town was excited for the annual Christmas festival that the town would produce each year. My father wanted to take me on the weekend it would be there. I agreed, and we went. We got there around 7 o'clock p.m., and we spent hours there, looking at the different booths, eating different foods, and overall having a good time. Around 9 o'clock p.m., the Christmas parade started, and there were crowds of people filling the sidewalks. There were some guys wearing Santa suits walking on the streets and in front of the different floats. However, I swear some of them were staring at the crowd like they were looking for something. I shrugged it off and continued watching the parade. It was 9:15 p.m. when it happened. Everyone heard guns being fired and people screaming. The parade stopped and everyone was running towards the parking lot. I was in shock and my father had to carry me to the car. There were men in Santa suits with assault rifles shooting people and shooting cars as they tried to leave. We got back to my father's apartment and we started to board up the windows and doors with whatever we could find. We could still hear the sounds of gunshots being fired. Around 10 o'clock p.m., my father wanted me to see something from one of the windows. About 5 trucks filled with more Santa suit wearing maniacs parked right in front of our street. It seemed like an entire army of these guys came from those trucks. The men were divided into groups of 4, and each group was breaking into each house. We heard gunshots coming from every house, and then a group of these men started walking towards our apartment complex. My father told me to arm myself with whatever I could find, and we were going to hide in our spare room. I could hear the voices of about 4 men inside the apartment. They were walking around looking for us. They kept trying to lure us out. One of them even tried to offer us either candy or money. I could also hear them breaking into each room, and then they finally got to the spare room. They counted down from 3 and then proceeded to break open the door. My heart was pounding. My father planned on killing one of them. One of them stepped right in front of the bed that we were hiding under. That's when my father grabbed him and proceeded to pull him under the bed. My father stabbed him with a kitchen knife about 4 times in the chest. He then grabbed the man's assault rifle and proceeded to shoot one of the other men in the head. We could hear the footsteps of the other men running down the hall towards the room. They got to the door when they aimed their rifles towards the bed and began to shoot. I had my eyes closed during this when I felt a warm liquid splatter across my face. I opened my eyes to see that there was blood on my face. I was silently freaking out, and I looked up to see that there were 2 other men killing the men in Santa suits. These men found where we were hiding and told us to follow them. We did, and we saw that the neighbors were fighting back against the army of Santa Clauses. They turned their homes into safety shelters for those who were injured. We were taken to one of these shelters, and we were there until my mother came to meet us and take me home. When the police from a neighboring town showed up, it was too late, as the army of neighbors have already killed and captured the army of Santas. Turns out, they were looking for a kid who broke into the hideout of a local drug cartel. I can never look at a Santa Claus the same way again.